Do you want us to talk first, or you want us to?
I'm just excited to be here as always. It's kind of an easy thing to talk about, right? First day, a lot of hope. Time will tell, but pretty excited about the new faces and kind of the, combined with our promising young core, we'll kind of see where we are. Excited about the work that JJ and the front office has done, certainly in the offseason.
What do you hope the message is this spring to all your players, both the newcomers and the
to the players?
Returning, yeah.
I think we just heard it in the clubhouse. I think Q had a really good message for them, right? That this is we care about all of them individually. We want to do all we can to help them get better. But the commitment is to the team and to the community and to the city, and that's what we're committed to doing, to try to do something special and excite our fans.
How different do you feel about the team this spring versus maybe last year?
Wow, last year was I think it was hard to tell last year, right? I mean, there was the excitement with a new manager and some new people, but I would have to say that I put JJ and Q in a tough position last year. We made some changes we thought were necessary. We went with our young guys, and we certainly learned that there's more development to be had, which is why we made the. We'd love to be able to build a team without spending a lot of time in free agency, but until we got to get the farm system ready and build that whole continuum and whole pipeline. So we're committed to put a winning team on the field, and if they're coming up through the system, that's great. If we got to supplement them from the outside, but it doesn't take away from the fact that we're committed. There's also a lot of work being done right now on the front of the pipeline. Development. We've added a lot of people, a lot of development people in our system, and so that commitment's still there. But we needed to really supplement to be competitive, or at least have the hope of asserting ourselves this year. We had to go to the open.
Was there a moment this offseason where you decided this is the right time to kind of go, not saying all in,
check
but
home for the extra throw, for the extra base. That's nice, Al.
And get some good guys.
Wow.
Well, we had some organizational meetings here in October, right after the season was done. I spent some time with JJ and Q right after the season, and I would say that it kind of developed. And JJ had some very specific goals, and I know he shared them with you, right? The rotation, the bullpens, the bats, there's a cost to all of that. You don't always get everything in your wish list, but I really feel like you got a lot accomplished. And then, of course, this isn't a new addition, but I think locking up Bobby Wood Jr. for the bulk of his career, that's also a big part of the commitment this offseason as well. He was going to be here anyway. That didn't necessarily change, but knowing that we have him is very exciting for the club.
And what's your message to the fan base, knowing that you guys are trying to get a new stadium built, but you got a team that's right here in the current right now that's potentially looking to win the Central?
Well, I hope the fans know that we're committed every day to try to make our team better now and in the future, and that's really what the focus is, and it's certainly what it was this offseason. The most recent trade with Schreiber, I think that was an interesting deal. JJ went, building depth in the bullpen. I think, we got to throw strikes. We have to stay in games, and we need to close out games. Right? I think we're going to score some runs. Think about the things that I've heard them emphasize: pitching, defense, smart base running, situational hitting on the field, and on the mental side of it, it's being smart, being aggressive, being fearless. And I think that's another thing that we talked about. Is look, we shouldn't be afraid of risk. We have to embrace risk, but being fearless, and it doesn't mean you don't make data or probability-based decisions, right? You do, but if we're afraid to fail, we're probably destined to fail. So that's more the mental side of it. I heard that inside there, and certainly heard it in the offseason as well.
You mentioned the checklist, John. You don't always get everything you want, but when Q and JJ met with us at the end of last year, the list he laid out, he did check every one on it. I mean, how close did you get? I know you're probably doing a lot more than we are, but from the outside, it seemed like he did get everything he wanted.
I think so. He'll always look for ways, and we will always look for ways to get better incrementally, right? Because we're going to need depth. We got to make sure we stay healthy. But yeah, I would say that he accomplished pretty much what he set out to. And it was interesting. well, and this has been talked about a little bit, but in that flurry there before the holidays or whatever it was, we signed Lugo, and they had talked to Waka, and I think that they thought we'd kind of moved on, and so Waka kind of reignited those conversations, and we had other ways to think about adding to the rotation, but that was a great example of JJ and I just staying in very close touch here. And I think the one thing about the deals, right, we've helped our team. It's all relatively, we got to develop our young core. We got to continue to build, but it's relatively short term. A lot of veterans in the clubhouse that will help our young guys, but we've maintained our payroll flexibility. If you think a couple of years out, and it's part of that was making sure that we had the confidence to sign Bobby, which we did, but also to continue to add to this team as you think about 26, 27, 28. We're thinking about it as well.
You mentioned, improving the system of our comfort level, but because we know eventually we'll have to pull back and go through it all. Do you think you can sustain constant?
It's a great question, and we talk about it all the time, right? And you think about baseball, right? We have this system where a lot of the small market teams, they go into kind of a difficult rebuild like we've been, and you alienate your fans, and so it's really important that we keep our fans engaged, right? And so, love to be able to kind of, but I think the model of, I think every once in a while you have to kind of reinvest and retrench, but I think we want to take out the dips, right? There's got to be a way so that our fans every year, they have hope when they show up, and they show up that year, they have hope that we're going to be able to do something special. That just because the way that the process went, I don't want to get into the sauce. we committed to have a couple things right in the letter of intent with the county to pick our site. We've done that, to finalize a lease agreement, and that's being worked on very diligently. And then we are meeting with the various groups in the community to try to come to a community benefits agreement, which I would anticipate. I don't remember that exact date that we committed to, but we'll get all that done well in advance of the vote.
So you're saying you anticipate having that done before April 2nd?
Yes.
I think I know the answer on this from last week anyway. When we get the Chiefs plan, get some more details on the Chiefs. Do you have a feel for when that's all part of the equation? It seemed like everyone was
coming.
Looking to you guys, like, hey, when are we going to see
they're
it?
coming.
Now it's all out there.
They're coming. I think the events at the end of the parade last week kind of delayed that a little bit, but we'll see. You'll see that's coming shortly. I know you guys are talking to Mark Donovan today, so they want to get that out there and make sure the fans know what their plans are.
John, after locking up Bobby, did you look at any other players that you'd like to have extension talks? Just not getting into specifics, but is that something that you'd be interested in doing with your homegrown core?
Yeah, I think so. If the time is right, you might want to ask JJ that question. I'll kind of follow their lead on that, but I think Bobby was a very special player. The things that he did last year, and we got him. It was an interesting contract. We could have him for 14 years. We guaranteed him 11. We him at least a very productive part of his career. So that was important to us. But yeah, there's a couple of developing. It has to be, the timing has to be right. And Bobby, I thought the timing was right this offseason. He could have waited until the year before he entered arbitration, but I just think his trajectory is such that this was a year to do it, and was happy that we were able to come to that agreement. But yeah, there's a couple other guys that I think JJ. But again, timing has to be right. Maybe they need a little more time, a little bit more of a sample size for us to make sure we're comfortable. But yeah, definitely.
If I may, you say you're going to meet with several of the businesses in the Crossroads area where you want to put your new stadium. What do you say if there's like pushback, or they're like really trying to preserve that space that they've called home for so many years?
For the most part, I think we're not really hearing something I would say as direct as that. But for the most part, I think they want to be heard. They want to understand what our objectives are and our commitment to how we fit into the neighborhood, and are supportive of the neighborhood as well. There's owners and there are tenants of buildings, and there's some people that there's some challenges. Like I said, I wish we could have been more. I wish we could have been out there early with it. And I have great empathy for people whose businesses are going to be disruptive, and we want to work with their landlords and the owners to try to help them through that transition.
And last for me, do you have any potential campaigning that you might be wanting to do? Because early voting, I know, is going to be in earnest on the 20th, which is tomorrow. But moving up to that vote.
Me personally, I plan to be out in the community, but the campaign team is meeting every day, meeting with the chiefs, and so we get both teams kind of amped up. It's the campaign has a couple of facets. It's certainly the core, Kansas City, Missouri. There's Eastern Jackson County, which has a little bit different of a calculus. We want to make sure we get to those areas.
I'm late. That's why.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.